Not long ago, I faced something no Not long ago, I faced something no serviceman should ever come back to. My home was gone, rented out by the HOA while I was deployed. Just because I chose to fight for my country, they said I'd abandon the place. What they didn't count on was me returning with a voice. Let's rewind a bit. I didn't make it to the door before alarms started ringing. The lawn was mowed. Seemed small, but it hit me hard. When I left, the yard was a jungle, and the sprinklers screamed like a wounded hawk every few rotations. Now, freshly trimmed hedges, spotless path. The entire property looked like it was snapped for a real estate brochure. And on the doorstep, a mat, not ours. New. It read, "Live, laugh, love." That wasn't what we had chosen. Ours made a statement, "Come back with a warrant." That one was gone, replaced. A cold current slid through my ribs. Not fear, not even shock, just facts settling in. I was home, technically, but someone else had claimed it while I was away. Not long ago, I faced something no serviceman should ever come back to. My home was gone, rented out by the HOA while I was deployed. Just because I chose to fight for my country, they said I'd abandon the place. What they didn't count on was me returning with a voice. Let's rewind a bit. I didn't make it to the door before alarms started ringing. The lawn was mowed. Seemed small, but it hit me hard. When I left, the yard was a jungle, and the sprinkler screamed like a wounded hawk every few rotations. Now, freshly trimmed hedges, spotless path. The entire property looked like it was snapped for a real estate brochure. And on the doorstep, a mat. Not ours, new. It read, "Live, laugh, love." I stood still. That wasn't what we had chosen. Ours made a statement. Come back with a warrant. That one was gone, replaced. A cold current slid through my ribs. Not fear, not even shock, just facts settling in. I was home, technically, but someone else had claimed it while I was away. Instincts flared. Something was off, not loud or obvious, but wrong in that subtle, skin-prickling way. Like noticing a photo frame tilted just enough to matter. Only this time it was my entire home out of alignment. Then I spotted it. A cherry-red Tesla, bold and smug, tucked into my driveway like it paid the mortgage, like it belonged. Not new to the block, not renting, settled. As if the driver wasn't just squatting, they were welcomed. That's when I caught the sound, wind chimes, soft, melodic. My wife despised them. She said they made the house sound like a haunted gift shop. So I moved closer, steps even, body tense but steady. I went for the doorbell but paused. Through the narrow glass beside the frame, I saw motion, someone crossing the hallway. No socks, loose shirt, something in their hand. A drink maybe, a smoothie. Their ease stung more than any lock. They didn't look nervous, they looked at home. Then came the music, not real jazz, the curated kind, the kind made for coffee shops and co-working spaces. The soundtrack of someone who types on a laptop near succulents and drinks things with oatmeal. Before I could knock, the door swung open. There he stood, relaxed and completely unaware of the storm coming. Probably early 30s, flip-flops, aviators perched in his hair like props. He held a pinkish smoothie in a fancy glass, banana, maybe strawberry. He looked like the kind of guy who ended texts with "peace and love" before yelling at customer service. He blinked at me, unbothered. "Can I help you?" he asked, like I was just there to drop off a package or ask for directions. Not a hint of concern, no flicker of doubt, just cool, calm detachment, like this wasn't my house, like I was the one intruding. I didn't speak at first, not out of confusion, but calculation. I'd walked into ambushes with less time to assess. My eyes were on him, steady. "This is my house," I said, words deliberate. He tilted his head, confused but smug, like a dog hearing a whistle. I don't think so, man." My fingers found my keyring, muscle memory. That same worn piece of metal had followed me through deserts, terminals, and one roadside explosion. I held it like a fact, not a threat. Still silent, I stepped forward. Unshaken, slid the key into the lock that used to greet me like a handshake. The key didn't budge. He took a step back, hands up slightly. "Dude," he said, still casual, "if you're trying to reach the leasing office or whatever, maybe call the HOA. We went through them for everything." Then he smiled. I'm Zach, by the way. Zach, of course he was. I almost laughed at the absurdity. That's when the black SUV pulled up. No flashing lights, no urgency, just quiet confidence, like it belonged to the neighborhood's ego. Lettering on the side, Community Safety Enforcement. Two guys hopped out in near-identical outfits, khakis, navy shirts, tactical vests more cosmetic than useful. One of them strode over, posture stiff with borrowed authority. "Sir," he said in a voice trained for HOA meetings, not combat zones, "we're going to have to ask you to step away from the residence." Like I was a trespasser. "Excuse me, you weren't expected back until Q4, she said, all confidence and calendar. "That's what your wife's last message indicated." I wasn't a spreadsheet. I wasn't a business quarter. I was deployed. Karen didn't pause. "And thank you for your service. But per bylaw 14C, any residence left vacant for 90 days. She kept going. "Without verified upkeep or direct contact, may be reassigned under board authority." I blinked. "Reassigned?" I repeated. She turned slightly, motioning toward Zach, still sipping his smoothie like this was a spa retreat. She beamed. "We placed a temporary occupant to maintain flow in the neighborhood ecosystem." "You mean you rented it out?" "We preserved community standards," she corrected. "It's nothing personal." "Did you get my deployment waiver?" I asked. There, barely a pause, a glitch in her programming. Then the smile snapped back. "Clerical issue, I'm sure. You can raise concerns at the next board meeting." "Let me get this straight," I said, my voice low. "You changed my locks, leased my house, filled it with strangers, all while I was deployed." Her answer came with a shrug. "We followed protocol." "No," I said, "you didn't follow the law." She smirked. "Then you'll have your chance to prove it. But for now," she gestured, and the rent-a-cop stepped forward. Not hostile, just enough pressure to test my posture. I didn't flinch. I looked past them, into my house. My wife's deployment portrait still hung by the kitchen. They hadn't even taken it down. Zach lifted his glass in salute. That's when I felt it, the key in my fist, pressing deep, sharp. My grip tightened. Could have broken it in half. Instead, I slipped it back into my pocket, turned without a word, walked down the drive, and sat in my rental. Not broken, just processing. I opened my phone. No lawyer yet, just a number. One I hadn't used since someone last underestimated me. One word, ready. The reply came in 2 seconds. Always. This wasn't a cry for help. It was a rally. The old kind. The kind you don't need to shout to be heard. The motel smelled like wet regret and cheap fabric softener. That's what hit me first the next morning. That and my boots, still lined at the foot of the bed, like I was waiting on briefing orders, like I never stood down, because deep down, I hadn't. "Coffee?" my wife asked. I nodded. The kids were asleep, or I hoped they were. Our son barely said a word since we'd been forced off our own sidewalk. He wore his hoodie like armor, sat hunched like every glance was incoming fire. And honestly, he wasn't wrong. While they rested, I worked. Laptop open, eyes red, dozens of HOA rules, zoning regs, public notes flashing across the screen like intel reports. Then I saw it, buried deep in version D of a draft revision. Something small, but explosive. Community Vitality Addendum.